Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Thank you if this is your first time of clicking, and thank you if you're returning. I appreciate your support, but do not forget to click the subscribe button. Before we go to the topic of today, I want us to quickly look at some few comments from the last our last video. In the last video we were looking at financial settlement and arrangement after financial settlement and arrangement during and after, or in the process of getting a divorce or divorce. It says that what about if while you were together, all your assets, everything that you've done was put in one person's name, especially for people in diaspora, because sometimes some people are more legal than the other, and amazingly this happened to the best of people, that sometimes one person, all the asset has been put in one person's name and they decide to play a fast one, which still brings me back to what I was saying earlier on. It doesn't matter where you live in the world, either in diaspora or in your homeland. I think there's no reason why you can't have your asset under both names, because at the end of the day, this is what happened in case the other person has other plans. Because sometimes unaware to some people, the other partner actually have other plans. So that's why in the first place they would request that all the documents remain in their own name, because they have their own other plan. But the only advice I can give on that is, it doesn't matter where you live in the world, it doesn't matter where, as long as you're together, put all your assets together in both your names. Even if it's going to be Mr. and Mrs., then your asset is together in your name. And if you would feel better, or whichever one will feel better, to have the name that suits you, but let it be in both names, because whatever is put in matrimony as a single name, to be honest, most of the time doesn't count as a matrimonial asset. I hope that answered that question enough. But if they need be, you could speak to the professionals and they will be able to help. Thank you for your question. Thank you for your comment. Today we're going to look at something that's called problems accepting new relationship or going into new relationship. I know, yes, some people might say my church doesn't allow new relationships. Some people might say I don't want to go into new relationship, but we talk about everything under the sun. So, and please feel free to comment, because no man is a fountain of knowledge. Going into a new relationship, I think especially some people, some single parents, in all fairness, have never been married and they've become single parents. So in that case, after all settled and everything, they might decide to want to get married. I know some people become single parent after divorce or separation or abandonment, but some people have never been married but they became single parent. So in that case, we can't say, and nobody can really tell any other person, that you can't go into a relationship. I think that would be called a demonic spirit. Nobody can actually say to you, you're not allowed to marry anymore because you've had a child out of wedlock or you're a divorcee. Some things you would have to seek God and decide by yourself. But let's first of all look at people that were not married but got to become a single parent. If you find somebody that you can adhere to, somebody that suits you, I don't see why not. But you have to make sure from the beginning that you are honest, you're straightforward, and there's nothing hidden, so that when the other partner or other person finally get to know you, there'll be no tales that can be used by anybody against you in the sight of that person, or even that much in the sight of God. So for people that have never been married but became single parent, it still boils on the part that if you decide you want to get married or be in a relationship with somebody that would lead somewhere, it's a choice that you make. But in every choice that you make sure honesty is the foundation of your choice. And for people that have been married and divorced or separated or otherwise, and you decide you want to go into a relationship, the bedrock of that for both people that were married and that was never married before becoming a single parent is still the honesty. Be an open book. Be a person of integrity. Speak the truth. Give the truth. Give information that needs to be known about you. Let nothing be hidden, because if something is hidden about you, then if it ever comes out, it becomes a defamation on your part, because then you become a non-reliable person. So having a relationship is not really the problem, but learning and understanding that getting into a relationship, there has to be total honesty really matters. And apart from total honesty, you have to be sensible. Most people sometimes get into a relationship or wanting to get married to try to prove a point. Unfortunately, you don't need to prove a point to anybody, especially for people that have been divorced or separated, and sometimes it seems like the other partner has moved on. I've done this, I've done that. You're not in competition with anybody. You need to be you, which is the bedrock of everything that we've looked at concerning the single parent. You need to be an individual with principle, and you stand on those principles. So because the other partner has moved on, married, on whatever they've done, it's not what you should live by. You should live by your own conviction. You should live by your own assurance. You should live by your own principle. Because Mr. A or Mrs. B gets into a relationship doesn't mean you should jump into a relationship as well. But still coming back to the thing, if you decide to go into a relationship, you have to be honest. You have to be sensible. Sensibility really matters. Proverbs 3:5-6, I will read it to you. It says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and do not lean on your own understanding. Acknowledge him in all your ways, and it will make your path straight. Practically, it's saying in sensibility, we have to lean on God. You lean on God for everything. You don't just see, oh, because this person is married, that person is married, I see this person, I have to get into a relationship as well. No. Sensible and leaning on God, which says in the Proverbs 3:5-6, acknowledge him. Lean on him in your understanding, and if he gives you to go ahead, then you go ahead. And you know, like when we have relationship, it's for companionship. Yes, it's for reproducing and that as well. But sometimes for people that have been married, have children, they may not want to reproduce again, but it's for companionship. So going into a relationship, you have to be sure this is a relationship that you could actually have companionship in, not just going into a relationship for the sake of going into a relationship or so that I'll be in a relationship as well. No, you have to be sure that you can get companionship from this relationship, because without companionship, you're practically back to square one, and that could also lead to divorce, separation, and you don't want that kind of record, and you don't want to be that kind of example to your children as well, because in everything we do, our children, the children in the midst of single parenting really matters. And I would say even maybe they're not maybe, they are the primary that has to be think about all the time. You look after the interest of the children. Accepting a renewed relationship, the interest of the children should be paramount, especially if those children are younger children. You want to be sure the person you're getting into a relationship are not going to be people that would maltreat or abuse, harass or assault your children. You want a safe environment for your children, especially when these children are younger. Yes, when they're older is different, because of course they can do most of the things as themselves. They have an understanding, they're adults. But when they are children, you don't just want to cohabit or have a relationship with somebody that would abuse, assault, harass or intimidate or violate your children in any way. So you need to be really, really particular to understand that, do I want to have a relationship, or do I want to look after my children? I'm not against people having relationship as a single parent or trying to get into other relationship. I'm not here to preach that I'm against that. But what I'm saying is, it's better to be a single parent by yourself when your children are not safe in the relationship you're likely to get into. Your children's interest, which is the very paramount of all. Everything else is secondary. But when it comes to your children not having peace, then there's no peace all around. And also, what else do I say? If you're trying to get a relationship, and you have to ensure that God is your guide. God is your guide, you know. Unless the Lord builds the house, they that labors in vain. And Isaiah 30:21 says, your own ears will hear him. Right behind you, a voice will say, this is the way you should go, whether to the right or the left. So Isaiah 30:21 is talking about when we're trying to get into a relationship or whatever we're doing, God will guide us. God will lead us. I know I'm a church girl, so I'm talking from Bible perspectives. But I know from people that might watch this that are from other religions, you would have things that guide you as well. Do you have the peace in your mind? Do you have the comfort? Do you have the assurance? Do you know what you need to know about this person? Have you studied this person? Affliction must not rise again. You would not want to go into a second marriage or second relationship and then come out again bruised or battered, because God does not want that for anybody. So what am I saying? In everything you do, let God guide you. Let God direct you, and also put the interest of your children as paramount. Your interest is good as well, I know, but the interest of your children are paramount until they get to a certain age. Even at certain age, the interest is paramount. The security, the safety depends on you in every aspect. I'm not saying don't get into a relationship, but I'm saying when you want to get into a relationship, be sure that the Lord is leading you to get into that relationship, that is guiding you, is directing you, making your bedrock. Psalm 147:3 says, he heals the brokenhearted and bind up their wounds. Psalm 147:3, he heals the brokenhearted and binds their wounds. So it's God that will bind your wounds. It's God that would heal your wounds, not the man or not the woman or not the partner. So that is why I say commit your ways into the hands of the Lord and he will guide you. Thank you for watching. I appreciate your visit. I appreciate your clicking. I appreciate your comments. And thank you so very much for coming back. God bless you. Bye.